First up, the climate wars. Now, they've been reignited this week when Opposition Leader Peter Dutton lit the fuse in the lead up, I think, to the next federal election, meaning that all us Australians will again have a climate change at the centre of an election issue and a poll. We've played this game many times before, haven't we? Remember the famous response from the former Prime Minister Julia Gillard? I think she was standing on the Brisbane River when she said these famous words.
There will be no carbon tax under the government I lead.
Well, we all know how that ended. Tony Abbott defeated Kevin Rudd, with climate again dominating election issues. So here we go again. This was Peter Dutton this week arguing that he would not be signing up to emissions targets for 2030 because, as he puts it, they are unattainable. So what's the point?
We want to make sure that we've got an energy policy that's working for Australians, not against them. I'm not going to sign up to an arrangement that destroys our economy and sends families and small businesses into bankruptcy. I'm just not going to do that.
Well, that sent the global warming zealots into a complete tailspin. The Greens, as usual, were predicting this would be the end of the world, with the increasingly over-the-top, out-of-touch inner-city Green leader Adam Bandt threatening to stymie any Peter Dutton attempts to weaken Australia's Paris agreements. So it's now game on. I'll talk to Daniel Wild from the IPA shortly. His organisation have a survey out today, which in simple terms reveals that the majority of people in Australia don't care, let me repeat, don't care where their energy, electricity and gas comes from, as long as it's reliable 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Consumers, either suburban homeowners or industry, just want to keep the lights on. In simple terms, they don't want the Australian way of life and the Australian economy trashed to meet some figure on a piece of paper signed in Paris. Now, Peter Dutton is onto something here, as long as he keeps reinforcing, I believe, that Australia needs the full suite of available power sources, including coal and gas, plus hydro, plus wind, plus solar and nuclear. Australia has abundant minerals, as we know, including massive amounts of uranium. Put simply, use our lottery of life, our natural resources, to make our life better, not worse. The Greens and the Teals and most of the Labor Party, including the delusional Chris Bowen, don't agree with that. They want us all to bow down to the zealotry of global warming alarmists, no matter the impact on your country. Let me give you a very simple example. At 11 a.m. today on the east coast of Australia, these were the temperatures, and bear in mind we're in winter. In Melbourne it was 9 degrees, with zero wind and no sunshine. In Sydney it was 14 degrees. In Brisbane it was 18 degrees, and in Port Douglas it was 24 degrees. To state the obvious, Australia's a big country, and the energy needs at 11 a.m. today in Melbourne were vastly different from the energy needs of those people who were luckily in far north Queensland. So how can we have one-size-fits-all energy policy that disregards the size and geography of our country? So what was keeping the lights on in Melbourne, you ask, at 11 a.m. today? Well, according to an energy app that we can all look at, coal, gas and hydro were generating, wait for it, 98% of Melbourne's electricity. Solar was generating 1% and wind 1%. So on Thursday, June 13 in 2024, the renewables Labor wants to introduce to generate 82% of Australia's electricity in just 5 years and 6.5 months was generating 2%. Take coal and gas out of that mix and you wouldn't be watching me right now. You'd be trying to remember where you put the candles.